So another error code that we could come across with E10s is going to be an E10T as in Tango. Now, what that error code means and the logic behind it is if we come down here to our high limit PCB board right here, basically the high limit PCB board receives feedback from our high limit probes. For a full VAT, you'll have 2 probes since we have 4 wires here. For a split VAT, you would only have 2 wires and 1 probe. So if we come up to our elements up top here, where our actual high limit probes are, the logic behind that is that PCB for the high limit is receiving a feedback of either one of these probes that is a difference greater than 63 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius. So that high limit PCB will check the temperature on this, and then it will check it again, and if it's greater than 63 degrees Fahrenheit or 35 degrees Celsius, that's when the E10T error code will occur. It will do the same thing over here and check this probe twice as well. And again, if it receives that feedback greater than those temperature difference that we mentioned, that's when the E10T will occur. So for a split VAT, since we would only have 1 high limit probe, it's going to check that same probe twice, and again, if we see that temperature difference of greater than 63 degrees Fahrenheit, 35 degrees Celsius, that's when the error code will occur. So what it looks like to troubleshoot that when it comes to that is we could actually have maybe a bad high limit probe, and we can go ahead and check resistance with our meter at the high limit PCB where the high limit probe connectors plug in. And what we can do is we can check for calibration and check resistance to see if this probe is working properly. And then also something we have to take into consideration that could be causing that error code would actually be maybe one of these elements itself, or on a split VAT, maybe that element only, since we would only have 1 element. Now what I mean by that is we could have one of these legs inside this element that is maybe drawing more amperage than the other. So what we could do is go to the back of the fryer, and then we could take an amp draw on each one of the legs of our element wires to make sure that they are consistent and make sure that we don't have one leg that is pulling more amperage than the other. So of course, if it's not the high limit probe and if it's not our elements, that it could wind up being the high limit PCB, but we would want to check those components first. So then that's how we would troubleshoot the E10T as in Tango and what that would look like.